Way I say is because most people outside of
Oh, well, I think there was quite a bit about farming in the manifesto, and I think that for a long time farmers have felt that government wasn't sympathetic to their industry and to the contribution that they made to the British economy. But the new government, I think, is very much concerned about farming, concerned about some of the problems that face the farming industry, and also some of the problems that face the consumer. And therefore, I think that we are now in a situation where farming does really count in government. We have to tackle the major problems that we've got with regard to public spending. The last government has left us with an enormous public sector deficit, and that has to be dealt with. And we will learn in October as to what measures will be involved. But of course, to some extent, farming is protected from that because so much of the funding comes from European Union sources. But some of the other measures which the government is determined, and I think we will see some announcements from ministers responsible for agriculture, are in the areas such as food labelling and also in terms of regulations. When farmers come and talk to me about their problems, regulation very often is top of their list, and I think that we've got to try and deregulate farming. It doesn't mean that food is going to be unsafe, but it does mean that farmers don't spend so much of their life filling in forms. Milk prices obviously mean that farmers do have to be pretty stringent in terms of how they balance their books. And I'm not sure there's much government can do to affect milk prices. It's a matter for the market, and farmers perhaps have to flex their muscles a little in the marketplace. But the question of bovine TB is an area where I know that the new government will be dealing with the issue. The last government, I'm afraid, kicked this very much into the long grass. It's quite clear to me, and I've talked to farmers over many years, and I farm myself, that badgers are the source of the spread of bovine TB. And in this area in particular, it is a major problem, and it's crazy that we have so many closed herds in this area, which means that farmers' livelihoods, although they're compensated, but their livelihoods in the long run are at stake if we don't do something about solving the question of bovine TB. And I've been fairly open with the farming community that I believe that we should have some form of selective culling of badgers where we know there are genuine infection hotspots, and to start to be able then to control TB in the badger population by inoculation, and the same thing with regard to the cattle themselves. We really do have to tackle this problem.
One of the issues that always intrigues me is how do we get younger people involved with farming?
Well, I think that's key. Obviously, at our agricultural colleges, we still have a lot of young people going through agricultural college, and those young people who come from families who have already own farms, then the question is fairly simple. The problem that we have is that the price of farmland now has become so expensive that it's very difficult for young people to come into farming. And therefore I am a great supporter of systems whereby young people can rent farms and whereby they are able to get on the first rung of the ladder as tenant farmers before possibly then being in a position to buy some farmland and to build up their own farming assets.
It's interesting, we were talking to two county tenant farmers across the border in Somerset yesterday, and there's a lot of uncertainty about the future of the county holding there. And I don't know whether that's anything you feel central government could have a say on.
Well, it is a matter, of course, for the county council to decide what they do with their tenant farms. I am aware of the concerns in Somerset. I'm not aware of similar concerns in Dorset or Wiltshire at the moment with regard to those county farms. But I would try and dissuade Somerset County Council from selling their farms, because I think that they have an obligation to the community as the county council to make sure that the farming industry survives in Somerset, and that all their tenant farms aren't bought up by property speculators who are probably just buying them for the amenity value rather than for the agricultural value.